On December 20th, the day after the fight, what do the headlines say about this fight and about you?
I don't know.
That's for you guys to write.
That's what people say. I don't know.
Several independent sources have reported identical versions of the interaction, despite the fact that none of these purported statements have been properly substantiated by publicly available footage. The fact that Shocker allegedly went beyond boxing by casting doubt onto Emo's mental stability and bringing up earlier remarks in which he implied there was a psychiatric problem with his opponent was what really...
Whether or not the fight is fixed, whether or not it's fake, whether or not it's, you know, this behind the wall deals being done and all those things. I think that as a boxer, you can see when a fighter pulls punches. You can see when a fighter...
He unnerved many in the room. One witness claims that Shakar told Timo that January 31st was not therapy, and that he intended to reveal all of his damaged aspects within the ring. Several others believed that certain remarks went beyond the bounds of conventional trash talk and turned the altercation into something intensely personal and emotionally charged.
So you got ability and you have market ability in boxing. Now, unfortunately, how it goes is you could have the two best fighters with the best ability, but they don't have market ability. So they won't be able to showcase their talent to the world because broadcasters won't be interested and fans aren't that interested. So what we need to do is bring the marketability aspect into the...
Supporters of Shaka immediately divided into two groups, with some applauding his poise and others claiming that Teomo and his father had spoken carelessly for years. Shakar's assurance was criticized by Tiafoe's followers as overconfidence that would vanish the moment actual power arrived, turning the face-off into a viral battleground of predictions and body language analysis. This incident occurred on December 10th in New York City. Which was unusually early in the promotional cycle and left nearly 7 weeks for the psychological damage image to simmer. This timing raised questions. Many people think this was a calculated move meant to increase rather than reduce tension. According to people close to the promotion, Turia... Lusk purposefully planned the bout early to allow the insults to linger, thinking that the more both fighters endured the disrespect, the more intimate the battle would become. Given the increase in online participation and discussion, this tactic seems to be effective. Turki Alalshik reportedly called in during the match's press conference to clarify that the victor of Stevenson versus...
I saw a post that in 2017 on the night he defeated Vladimir Klitschko, Jake Paul was at some type of Disney Star Awards. Just your take on how this entire deal came together.
Crazy. I mean, we were presented with an offer to fight Jake Paul and we took it with both hands. I mean, we'd be crazy not to.
As Lopez would guarantee a huge fight. In May, immediately upping the stakes and adding career-ending repercussions to an already thrilling clash. You are aware Teomo is said to have emphasized surprise as his strongest weapon, which further demonstrated the philosophical differences between the box.
You know, AJ was going to fight this week here. We didn't sign a contract, but we made an offer to Cassius Chaney. We were going to fight an 8-round fight here. We were going to rock up on fight night, just wrap the hands, and no one was going to know about it. And you wouldn't have seen him all week. We would have just turned up fighting.
The stylistic conflict that characterizes this battle was aptly summed up when Shah purportedly retorted that genuine elite fighters relied on consistent fundamentals rather than chaos. The boxing community was left with a lot of unanswered questions as both fighters went back to their training camps. Because there was more to this confrontation than hype. It revealed
that was not a boxing match. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this contest. And then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again. He was fighting.
Ego, history, pressure, and legacy. Laying the groundwork for a confrontation on January 31st that now seems unavoidable. Unstable and unavoidable. When Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez finally had a face-to-face meeting, the boxing world was rocked. Because this wasn't rehearsed trash talk or standard promotion. Even seasoned
Now we're doing an 8-rounder a few weeks later for a 40th or 40 times the money we were going to get to fight tonight against Jake Paul. You can't make it up. I think it's crazy. I think Jake Paul, respect to him, but it's a terrible decision.
Boxing experts felt uneasy witnessing two unbeaten champions lock eyes because they knew everything said would reverberate into January 31st at Madison Square Garden. It was personal, tense, and calculated, with numerous people in the room describing an atmosphere so weighty. Several witnesses claimed that Shakur Stevenson informed Teofimo Lopez that his entire legacy will fall apart on January 31st, leaning into the moment with a terrifying calm, stressing that this was not Lomachenko or Josh Taylor, but
Jake was fighting for his survival. You could see that this animal who's been caged and is just trying to make it through. It was incredible. And any boxer that wants to say, well, that wasn't high-level boxing, go ahead. I won't argue with you. But any human that says that wasn't a fight, yeah, it was a
but rather a totally different kind of threat Teofimo had never encountered before. He allegedly warned that Teofimo and his father would be devastated if every flaw was revealed. Social media was immediately sparked by those purported remarks because fans heard not just confidence, but also precision and intent. With Shakur coming across as calculated rather than emotional, this only intensified reactions when Teofimo Lopez refused to back down and got ready to retaliate.
Never faced before.
I'm just so proud of him. My mom has it.
Your brother fought his ass off, man.
Yeah,
I mean, other heavyweights have taken that right hand and only took one.
I'm just so proud of him. That was incredible. In my view, that was a victory on all fronts.
Right.
Minus the actual victory, of course.
Raising the stakes for a January showdown that now feels more personally than just professionally significant. What? Tension was already high before that fierce match started when Teofimo Lopez Sr. allegedly got into a verbal altercation with Shakur Stevenson's team members. He claimed that Shakur had never faced elite competition like his son and insisted that January 31st would reveal levels the world had not yet seen. Insiders
The last 6 rounds with AJ, in my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that he at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw. Fighting, man, that's toughness. Most people wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet.
Claim that remarks made by Shakur simply served to stoke his internal fire. Through social media posts and interviews between both sides, the build-up to this event had been going on for months. And when the face-to-face finally took place, according to sources, Shakur kept an icy gaze, not blinking, radiating the aura of someone who already believes the conclusion is certain. Several people in attendance regarded this as a truly terrifying posture. There were times, according to witnesses,
waiting for that knockout. Absolutely. And where is the Tyson Fury Joshua fighting happening now?
Yeah, it should happen. I think it should happen.
Who wins it? Who wins it? Lennox, who wins it?
Oh, don't ask me too soon. It's too soon for that, man.
Excuse me, Lennox. I'm sorry.
I miss you, Lennox.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Man? Good to see you.
Yeah, man.
Just let me know your thoughts on Jake going 6 rounds with AJ.
The fact that
when the tension almost turned into a violent altercation, especially when Teofimo allegedly moved forward and informed Shakur that he breaks boxers mentally before touching them physically, using Lomachenko as evidence. No one grabbed their seats before securing, according to Shakur's comment. When both fighters were questioned about their strategies, the psychological warfare
for someone who's been boxing for less than a decade, he has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember what happened in the Tommy.
He lost a close decision, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight, though. He's a good boxer. If he wasn't a YouTuber, people would be way more impressed with him.
Yeah.
The problem is he was like a famous
warfare escalated. According to sources, Shakur told Teofimo directly that he had researched all of his weaknesses, pointing out his struggles against mobile boxers and claiming that he was far superior to the Lomachenko Teofimo faced. A declaration that directly addressed
kid, and then no one took him seriously.
Yeah. And then he started too with more spectacle-ish fights. People were like, "Oh, this is you." He fought, Nate Robinson, like a basketball player.
But the thing is, he knocked Nate Robinson dead, and it's the way he did it that I was trying to tell people. I'm like, no, that was skillful. So there's boxing matches where you see 2 guys just slugging it out, one guy lands a punch.
For having me, and thanks for being involved in the event through Netflix. I think you did a great job as usual.
I don't think it was a moral victory because he expected to win. I do think he showed who he is as a fighter. I think he deployed the strategy that he was very clear about going into, that he was going to look to make AJ miss, and AJ missed. For having me, and thanks for being involved in the event through Netflix. I think you did a great job as usual. I don't think it was a moral victory because he expected to win. I do think he showed who he is as a fighter. I think he deployed the strategy that he was very clear about going into, that he was going to look to make AJ miss, and AJ missed.
Like, we think about you to fight Jake. I'm like, what? Say, we think about you to fight Jake to replace Javante. I'm like, who's Jake? I was so confused, I wasn't expecting that at all. And he said, yeah, Jake Paul, he's fighting. And I'm like, no, bro, come on, don't.
A number of times. And ultimately, I think the weight of AJ caught up to Jake Paul. If you look at the first 3 rounds, AJ wasn't really able to touch him. But when AJ was in a clinch with him a couple of times, pushed down on the back of his neck, pushed down on the back of his head.
I mean, don't disrespect me like that. And then they even say they even come out after and say, and what if the number are good? He sent out some number. I'm like, it's not about the number. If it was about the number, we could have started talk. I would have tell you, I'm not just interested. It make no sense for me. It's not my what I'm looking.
For takedown, again, that was Jake trying to engage in the clinch, and AJ smartly moved back. In one instance, I think it was the 5th round, Jake engaged for a clinch, AJ moved back and started punching down on Jake's back. So all of those things kind of deteriorated or emptied Jake's gas tank a lot earlier than I think he expected it to.
The psychological Lopez's most well-known triumph. The thing about Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez that keeps coming to me is how little of this feels fake, because genuine tension has a different texture, and everyone who observed them sitting face-to-face could sense it in the pauses, the eye contact, and the way neither guy hurried to fill the void, which indicates to me that they both know exactly what's at risk, beyond paychecks and belts. Shakur Stevenson encounters like someone whose confidence isn't loud or frenzied, and who feels that time is on his side, and that inevitability is his best weapon. It's methodical and slow. Additionally, when a boxer begins speaking as though the result is already well, it's either because he's bluffing hard or because he's witnessed something in training. And on camera, that gives him a sense of invincibility. On the other hand, confusion and emotion are what drive Teofimo Lopez. Additionally, that's because he has astonished the world and defeated elite fighters. When he is focused and locked in, his unpredictability can either be his greatest asset or his biggest disadvantage. However, his performances might fluctuate greatly when emotion takes over. Shakur appears determined to drag him into that precarious area. Teofimo Sr. amplifies everything, which is why he is such a deadly variable. In this situation, the noise, the strain, and the assurance, moreover, that occasionally aids Teofimo's ascent. However, there are instances when it adds weight that is difficult to bear, particularly when the opponent, like Shakur, seems composed enough to allow that pressure to crush from the outside. By the time Madison receives January 3-1 SD, this battle in Square Garden will be much more than just speed versus strength or aggression versus defense. It will be about who slept better at night, who handled the weeks following that confrontation better, and who allowed the words to become inspiration rather than a distraction. Because even before the first blow is delivered, the mental battle frequently determines the physical one at this level.